Hey and welcome to Hank's True Barbecue. So today I'm going to do a little smash burger bonanza using the Drip N Griddle pan from SnS Grills. Now the Drip N Griddle pan, this is what it looks like. This version I have is a cast iron pan. It's been around for quite some time. The old Drip N Griddle pan, they sell one in stainless steel. That is more what I call personally a drip pan because it's too thin to be used as a griddle. Some time ago they released the cast iron version. Got my hands on this relatively recently. So I thought, let's try out some smash burgers. This is a perfect time. So why do I prefer the cast iron version? Well, obviously because it's so much thicker, it has a lot of thermal mass. So as soon as I put a patty on here to smash it, it's not going to drop temps. Instead, it's going to keep that high temp, giving us that caramelization and the Maillard reaction we're looking for. So a few words about seasoning, because I haven't used this one yet. This is the first time. I thought it would be a good test. Now, as you can see, it has almost that lacquer finish in here. What I did was I put this on the grill with a bunch of charcoal, really well heated, and I then poured oil in here. I use a canola oil or a peanut oil, any kind of oil that can take high temps, i.e. has high smoke point. I covered it with like 1/8 inch of oil and just let it sit there until it started smoking. Then got rid of it, poured another batch in and did it 3 times. The benefit of doing that is, as you can see, you get this, well actually what happens is you get polymerization. That's what you want to take place. So all that oil goes into those miniature small cracks in the metal and forms almost like a non-stick surface. This is the same way you treat cast iron pans in general. So nothing new under the sun, but that needs to be done before using it. So I'm really excited about trying this one out. Looks like I did a good job of seasoning, but we'll see when I smash the burgers. Also, this means you don't have to put a ton of oil because you don't want to use that when smashing burgers anyway. Because if there's too much oil, you don't get the Maillard reaction we want when smashing them. So this is the setup I'm going to use. I have the slow ones here in here with a water pan, but this one's not needed, so I'll throw that out. Instead I can fit more charcoal into the charcoal basket. On top of that we get the regular grate, and finally the Drip N Griddle pan. It's going to be placed right here, right above the charcoal bed, so we're going to get a good surface for smashing and searing some tasty burgers. So real easy setup. You want this surface to get real hot, like 450 to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a good smashing temp. If you don't have an IR gun to measure temps, which most don't, and that's perfectly fine, you're just going to have to put your hand here and feel. But what you're looking for is really, really hot surface. So get that cranking hot, and then we're going to smash the burgers. Because typical cook time when smashing a burger is like 1 minute on the first side, and then you flip it for 30 to 40 seconds, and then it's done. So easy peasy. Now when it comes to flavors and stacking your burgers, there are endless possibilities. I do think, however, that onion is an absolute necessity. I found an option though that I really like. I use silver onion or white onion. It's really mild, great flavor. You can use it raw easily. If you don't like yellow onion, you think it's just a bit too harsh, this is a really good option. However, I do add a twist to it. So I've sliced some white onion here, really thin, added some olive oil. I use a mandolin. It's really easy to make. It's just perfect thin slices. And when adding oil, I also add some lemon. So it's basically an oil lemon marinade. I'm going to leave this in for 30 minutes. It really adds a nice lemony tang that's just a perfect complement for most burgers. I mean, again, there are 100 versions of doing this, different ways of using onions, red onions, Vidalia onions, etc. But I think this is a great tasting flavor to add to the burger. So I'm just going to stir this up a bit, put some saran wrap on top, and just leave this for 30 minutes before we actually start cooking. Now when smashing burgers, it's quite easy or common to use a smash burger press. Now I don't cook burgers a few times a week, so I haven't bought one of those yet, but I guess it's a really good idea. They look nice. Instead, I'm just going to use an old pan with a thick bottom. So I just press it down, and that's easy. So use the tools you have already at hand, and don't need to spend money on that unless you really want to. Some people, when pressing down, use parchment paper right in here, in between the patty and the actual burger press or burger pan in this case. I tend to not use it. I mean, it's perfectly fine, but what I do instead, the whole point of having the parchment paper, by the way, is to have the patty release from the press. But instead of using parchment paper, when pressing down, I simply rotate this 90 degrees, and that makes the patty release from the bottom of the pan, and I can pick it up easily. Both ways are perfectly fine. Use whatever you prefer. I just tend to keep it simple. Also, the whole reason why I'm talking about this all the way before the cook instead of when starting the cook is that this is a super fast cook. So once we get the patties on the grill, things are going to go fast. Speaking of patties, this is what I have. I made 5 equally sized patty balls with between 108 and 110 grams of beef in each of them. I think it's a perfect smash burger size. Some of you are seeing this the first time. A normal complaint I get is, why do you make burgers small? Well, if you want a lot of meat, simply make a double or a triple smash burger and Bob's your uncle. So for those with a big appetite, that's a problem easily solved. Now, as for the beef to fat ratio, I tend to use more fat, so I would guess this is roughly 70 to 30% beef to fat. The reason for that is I used a brisket that was getting close to its expiry date, so I decided to grind the whole thing as it is, which means there's a lot of fat content in these, but again, that's going to add flavor, and I like that, so that's going to be good. Normal percentage ratio is like 80 to 20, but I tend to go 70 to 30 because, well, it just tastes better. But we're going to add some charcoal to the grill, get it fired up, put the pan on top, and let this one warm up properly, and then we're going to get to smashing. For this one to get up to temp, I just added a small dab of butter to see if it burns quickly, but obviously not, so it's not hot enough. We'll give this another 5 minutes. Also, it's important, because it is cast iron, to have the heat distributed evenly all through the pan. But yeah, we're getting close. It's a pretty quick one, and I have a ton of charcoal for this fast cook, so this will be up to temp in no time. So it looks like and feels like this one's up to temp. I'm gonna get the first burger. Press down, pretty hard, rotate and release. Easy. As you can see here, no need to add extra oil. Alright, that went fast, so it's time to stack the burger. Now, I started by giving these a quick toast. Just some plain old butter on top of that Drip N Griddle pan. I'm gonna add some sriracha mayo, one of my favorites for burgers. I like the little added heat I get from that. I'm gonna drop in a slice of lettuce or two. I typically put that in the bottom because that means meat juices don't go straight into the bottom bun and dissolve it immediately, but I guess there are different schools of building a burger, so do whatever you like. First burger goes on, really juicy, tasty. I think though the fat content was almost too high in these because I had a hard time keeping them together, but we'll see how it tastes. And some of that lemon marinated white onion is going to be good. Oh man, this is going to be good. All right, time to dig in. I like this when a burger is dripping with fat. That means there's good flavor in it. I like the cheese. I went with the mild cheese, but go with whatever cheese you prefer. This is a good smash burger. Nice crust, nice flavor. I will reduce the amount of fat for the next one though, because in the next batch I should say. Because I had a hard time just keeping it together, but I always learn when cooking, so, and this was good fun, and I enjoyed using Drip N Griddle pan. It's really helpful. It's like having a cast iron pan, only bigger surface area to work with. And I could heat it up in like 5 minutes, so that was really good. Anyhow, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next episode.